A meeting of September the 3rd, 2024 to order, and let the record show we do have a quorum. We do have a new board member, Miss Ida Wertz, and certainly hope she can join us in October. A few housekeeping items. First and foremost, your communication devices, either turn them off or mute them while we're in here so we can make things go smoothly. And two, if you are speaking, when you come to the podium, there is a sign-up sheet there. You'll sign your name and address for the record, and also consider yourselves under oath when speaking. And there is a five-minute limit on for and against, and we'll be using that. And I did say consider yourselves under oath. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Patrick. I missed that.
That's fine. There. The first part's good.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the first order of the business. The second, the approval of the minutes for the July 24.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the minutes as stated.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your hand, please. And it is unanimous to approve. Thank you. There being no old business, case presentation. Now, for A and B, Miss Katie will discuss A and B. I'll read them both, but we will vote on them separately. They're the same property. But there's no sense in discussing it twice. So we have case VA 02-08-06-24 and VA 03-08-06-24. Miss Katie.
So the homeowner is here tonight for the two variances. His first variance is a relief of the Lake Murray setback. So the required setback should be 108.5 feet from the 360. He's asking to be 102 from the 360. And then for the second case, is for the side setback of 7 foot required. He's asking to be 5.5 feet. So if you see on the aerial, his parcel is outlined in blue. He has done some demolition. He is keeping some of the original foundation structure. Some of it's already been demoed. His hardship here this evening tonight is he's trying to use some of the existing house plans, and then also just the uniqueness of these lots there is they're very narrow and long. So he's kind of limited on left to right. And then, of course, the Lake Murray issue is, of course, the original house where it's sitting. So that's kind of the overview of this property. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Miss Katie. Is there any questions for Miss Katie?
Did I understand you to say that the new house is going to sit on the old foundation?
Some of it.
And how far past the original foundation to Lake Murray?
They're going just from where this picture is. They're going 5 foot in addition to this picture, but that's not what's physically on the ground right now because it's been some demoed. But from the closest point of this aerial view is 5 feet.
5 feet more toward the lake.
Right, 5 foot.
Any other questions for Ms. Katie? All right. Thank you, Ms. Katie. Is there anyone here speaking on behalf of this? Just please remember to sign and put your address on there. There should be a piece of paper on the podium.
Mr. Chairman, I will have the 5 minutes.
Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank the Zoning Appeals Board for meeting with us today for our property at 216 Coldview Road. And as you can see, when these lots were parceled out, they're just very narrow, all along that strip, very narrow.
Excuse me, just for the record, will you please state your name?
Okay.
I know it is 216 Covey, you stated that.
Samuel Lewis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, okay. We need to remodel this property to make it an enjoyable place for our children and our grandchildren, as well as other family and friends to visit. Our request is simple. We are requesting relief from the 108 feet setback. We are requesting from the original structure an additional 5 feet so that we will be able to, what I want to do is make a glass room over there, enjoy the view of the lake as well as to access our backyard. Secondly, we are requesting relief of the 7-foot required side property because as you can see, all of these properties are very narrow. And if you see the one on the left, it's actually going across, the property is actually going across the property line to the people to the next. So that's how narrow things are. So I solicit the zoning board's help in improving our property. And I think that's what we all should want a property owner to do, to be able to improve their property. We're thankful for the help we have received from Ms. Wirtz, King, Virginia, and Justice. All of them have been very helpful in assisting us to understand the county codes and regulations. And we want to follow all of them. And personally, I would never want to do anything that would be hazardous to my family and I in terms of reconstruction. That just makes common sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to say also,
And for the record,
for the record, my name is Arbor J. Lewis.
Thank you,
Also a
ma'am.
property owner.
Thank you.
And our issue with the back is that there was an existing structure there, but it was in such bad repair that you could not access the house from that porch. And so as a safety concern, it was torn down. So presently, we have no way of getting out of the back door because there's such a drop there.
All right, for the record, you consider the back lakeside or roadside?
Lakeside.
Okay.
Lakeside, yes, the lakeside,
And you
the
can see what the
lakeside.
original structure
Yes.
was.
My in-laws considered roadside, so that's why I'm asking.
Yes, it would be lakeside, it would be lakeside.
I mean, that's what, according to the code, we would look at it as lake, but I want to make sure
Yes,
how you're, thank you very much.
okay. And the original structure was somewhat raised, so it wasn't from the foundation to the lake part.
All right.
So we would like to go back and to improve what was originally there.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right, now we go to opposition.
Any questions?
Is there any questions of the board, of the Lewises? All right. Now, is there anyone here speaking in opposition to this variance request? Approach the podium, sign in, state your name and address for the record.
Yes, hello. Thank you for seeing me. My name is Joe Steets. I live next door to the left of that property as we're looking at the picture there, the goldish roof, 224 Coveview Road.
All right, now, the left, is yours 44?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a handout. Should I do that now?
Yeah.
Up my 5 minutes. Thank you, gentlemen. Sorry for dropping that, sir. Okay, if we look at these pictures here, some of this that's going on is, again, I mean, I'm a neighbor. We're neighbors. I keep an eye out for the neighborhood. These are little cottage homes. They're 900, mine's 700. The house on the other side is 400 some square feet. These are little 2-bedroom weekend cottages. The property that is being worked on now, if we look at the first picture here, the existing new additions, that shows the property square on the property lines, that grayish colored one, and it is not. If you look at the plat, you can see that the house, if you look at the second picture, you can see that the bottom left corner towards 44 is almost touching the line. I mean, it's.
So I do want to interrupt real quick.
All right.
These GIS aerials, they're as good as they can be, but this is not to replace the plat. So
Correct.
I don't want y'all to base your decisions on this GIS because it's an aerial. It's not a true plat, okay? So I just wanted
Yes,
to make
okay.
that clear.
But as we can see from the aerial, the house is cockeyed on the lot, which makes when they build an addition towards the street, which would be towards the bottom of the page, it will continue to go towards the property line.
Okay.
The other thing that was mentioned is the front side, the lake side of the house. They talked about access there. Yes, there was a porch on there, but a porch is a porch. That's fine. If we look at page 2, we see that the center of the house is what is existing. We see the dark lines on the top section of the page. That's the addition towards the lake, and they are adding on 22 or 17 feet on that side towards the lake. They reference 5 feet, but they're not. If you look at the size and you can see the drawing dimensions that are with the building department here in the county. Also, if you look towards the other end of the picture, the bottom side of the picture, you can see the dark lines. I mean, they're more than doubling, almost tripling the size of this house. It's 900 existing, it's going to be 2,400 square feet. If we also look at that map, the picture of the floor plan, you see there's a walk-up staircase to the second floor, which is, another whole second floor. And if we look at the third page, we can see what kind of structure they're putting up there for a second floor. It doesn't look like an attic to me. And they wouldn't be putting a walk-up staircase. So they're putting 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a laundry room, a kitchen with a dishwasher into this little cottage property. It's a 40-foot lot. It's 100 feet from the lake. They want to even go closer to the lake. We're worried about contamination of the lake. No. And then also the front lines of the houses as they're relative to the lake, you can see how the house in the front with the porch on it is sitting, and then their house is sitting. I mean, if they add on a whole nother 17 feet to the house, plus a porch on the front of that, there's going to be they're building a little hotel over there. 3 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms, a whole walk-up upstairs. These are little tiny cottage lots. This is not, a big mansion lot. So with the 40-foot width, it really and again, they're changing it from 900 to 2,400 square feet, plus a walk-up second floor.
All right, his time's up.
Okay.
Time?
Yes, your time is up.
And
Mr. Judge.
I would like to address some of these from a building code standpoint from the county.
Yes, ma'am.
When he had, the picture here, any construction that is done on this home will be addressed by the plans. That's what our inspector goes by when he is on site. So it will be to the current 2021 ICC building code. So just remember that. And the 5 foot, again, I want to just clarify that with everybody is listening. What's on the property currently as we see it right now has been changed from what we see on the aerial. The 5 foot is from what we see of the original, not as what's been demoed, because he has a current demo permit. It's not what's been demoed, so it's not what we're looking at right now. It's what was originally on the property. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that for everybody here.
All right.
But they didn't demo housing, they just demoed a porch.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Now, is there anyone else here speaking for this? All right.
Oh, no questions?
Does the board have any questions of Mr. Joe? Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Please step up. You'll sign your name and
Yes, sir.
and then state your name, please.
My name's Jerry Weatherford. I own lot 43. So I'm 2 doors over.
Yes.
What I'd like to say is we are all neighbors, and this is supposed to be about community. We're supposed to be thinking about improvements. I don't know how familiar you guys
You're
are.
43 or 46?
I'm 43.
43, okay.
Yeah. And I don't know how familiar you are with that neighborhood, last time you've rode through that area, but there are a lot of older structures that need to be redone,
Yes, sir.
including the one that I purchased and demoed completely to the ground. So, as everyone stated, very narrow lots, very challenging, and I understand the GS maps aren't accurate, but you can see how close everybody is, including Joe, including the Lewises. And I just think that we got to work together. And if you look all over Newberry County on the water, and I have an example for you, one being on Living Inn Road, there's a gentleman who just built a big home, 2/3 of it's out in front of both of the neighbors. 2/3 of the home, not 5 feet, not 1.5 feet, 2/3 of that home.
Right.
And it's probably a 4,000 square foot structure.
Yes.
That just went up. That blocks everything. And I may be wrong, but I thought we bought this, not this,
That's
and
correct.
not that.
Yes, sir.
So I know you have a job to do, and I know you have forms and there's checks and boxes, but there's got to be community involved in some of these decisions as well. And the tax base improves when we improve our neighborhoods.
Right. And, yes, sir, Mr. Jerry.
Is there any questions
Any
before I walk away?
questions?
When you remodeled your house, have you remodeled, you say you demoed it to the ground and started over?
No, sir. So right now, I'm in the middle of leveling the ground and getting it right. And I'll be up against all the challenges everybody else is. And I'll be working with.
How many square feet is your house?
I'm not even on the plans yet because I've got to work in between the septics, the offsets. And if you take a look at that, that's a challenge. So right now, it's all cleared out. I'm under a permit for an RV so that I'm moving my mother-in-law in up there so I can build her a place. So the RV is going to go in, she's going to live in it while we build, and then once we build, the RV will be moved.
Okay, but right now, you don't know approximate size of the house you want to build?
I'll be honest with you, as
Square feet, anything?
investing for my mother-in-law, it's going to be as much as I can get her. So that when it's time to move on, then we sell it and recoup that money.
Right.
So, I mean,
All right.
that's full transparency.
Yep. That's right. Thank you. Any more questions, Mr. Mayor? All right. Is there anyone here speaking against? Isn't that right, what we're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Against?
I must be against both for, but I just want to make a comment. And my name's Larry Tucker.
Wait a minute. If there's a form, if you'll sign it as well, Mr. Tucker.
Tucker, you said?
I think he said Larry Tucker.
Larry Tucker, yes. Okay. I own some property in the area.
Okay.
Okay.
For the record, you're Larry Tucker, and what is your address?
I have a property on 1049 Grant Drive, which is not on that picture.
Oh, okay.
But I'm in the neighborhood.
All right.
Okay. And I'm not going to get into the zoning or the right-of-way or like this. My concern is septic, okay? In that area, septic tanks are, some of them have failed, some have been replaced. They're putting engineered systems and stuff like that in there. And with a house going from 2 bedrooms to, and this may have already been addressed, I don't know.
I can address it, but go ahead.
Okay. I don't know how the septic system been handled, but I don't want it leaking into the lake and polluting our area, and I just have a concern about that.
I'll go ahead and address that. Mr. Lewis had, so the county, our stance for septic system is if it's a new property or you're adding more bedrooms, then DHEC out of Columbia handles all of that. Only time that we kind of get involved is if there's an existing 3-bedroom house and you're demoing it and you're building back in a 3-bedroom house. That's when we get in there. But because they're adding more bedrooms, they actually have had to work with Department of Health and Environmental Control, and they are the ones who deem it that it is good. So he has all the proper DHEC permits.
Okay,
for the
I
septic
didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I just know going from 2 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms and
He
all the
did.
other things
He
they're
did.
adding.
DHEC had to come out, and I believe they actually did like a whole new perk test for it.
Okay, all right. That's all I want to find out.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker.
That's a requirement that we have before we'll issue a permit on our side.
Yes, that's what I had to deal with. All right, is there anyone here speaking, anyone else speaking for? Anyone else speaking against? All right, I call the discussion closed. Now, let's see, make sure I get the right one. We're discussing.
Give an opportunity to come back.
Well, that's what folks.
I don't know if you understood that.
Would you care to rebuttal or anything, or you think that the issues have been discussed clearly? If you would like. All right. All right, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know where Mr. Steets got his measurements from and all of that. I wish I could build something to what the size he's talking about, but that the house is nowhere near the exaggeration of what he put on it.
All right.
And at present, I had thought about adding a 3rd bedroom, but now I'm gonna leave it at 2 bedrooms, and the front is just gonna be dining room, living room area. So I don't know where he get, I guess he know more about me than I know about myself, I
I
guess.
understand, Mr. Lewis. All right. Then I'm supposed to go back up. All right, now it is closed for discussion. What we are discussing is the setbacks and the sides. Now, first one we're voting on, or making a decision on, is BA 02-08-06-24. The board is required to consider the following factors per section 153.052A through F and 153.052C 1 through 5, which are: 1, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. 2, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Excuse me. I need to poll you on one. I'm sorry, we changed our ways and I forget. All right, I'm polling on one. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. And Mr. Hugh, I'm going to start with you.
I would concur or agree with that statement.
Agree.
I agree as well.
Concur, Mr. Chairman. I agree on it.
It's unanimous. Number two, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity or in that district.
I concur with that statement as well.
Agree.
Agree.
Agree. Agree on that.
Right? Unanimous. Number three, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict use of the property. Mr. Hughes.
I would agree with that statement.
Patrick.
Agree.
I agree as well.
Agree. Agree also.
Number four, the authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Mr. Hughes.
I agree with that.
Agree.
Mr. Chairman, I agree as well.
Agree, Mr. Chairman. Agree on it, Chairman.
Last, the effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. Mr. Hughes.
I agree with that statement.
Agree.
Agree.
Agree. Agree.
All right. It is unanimous on that. I'll be prepared to accept the motion.
Motion to accept as requested, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Boland
Second, Mr. Chairman.
and Mr. Patrick. All in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. The first variance request is approved. Well, there's a period of time they'll have to wait.
There's a 30-day waiting period, so if anyone would like to appeal the decision of the board, they have 30 days to do that.
Now, we are deliberating on VA 030806-24, and this is for the side. Our friends 153.052C 1 through 5. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. Mr. Hughes.
I agree with that statement.
Agree.
Mr. Chairman, agree.
Agree, Mr. Chairman. Agree.
These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity or in that district. Mr. Hughes.
Agree.
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 Agree. Agree on it, Chairman.
Number three, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict use of the property. Mr. Hughes.
Agree.
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 Agree. Agree on it.
The authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Mr. Hughes.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree, Mr. Chairman. Agree on it.
The effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. Mr. Hughes.
I agree.
Agree.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree, Mr. Chairman. Agree on it.
I am prepared to accept the motion since it's unanimous.
I move the motion be granted, or the variance be granted, rather.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. Both of your variance requests have been approved, but again, there is a 30-day time period, so please stay in touch with Ms. Okay. All right.
Good presentation.
Thank you. 03-903. All right. Our next case number VA 01-09-03-24. A variance request for the relief of a 7-foot required side property setback to be 5 foot from the side property line for an enclosed storage building. The property is located at 912 Hams Landing Road, Prosperity, South Carolina. Tax map number 653-2-21-13. Ms. Kagan.
So the property owners, the Whites, recently purchased this property, and they have built a new site-built house since the aerial was taken. They're now wanting to build an enclosed storage building. If you're standing at the road to the right-hand side of the property, there is a utility easement that they cannot build within, so they're limited to building on the left-hand side. And with the placement of the house, where the shed is, they're asking to be 5 foot from the property line instead of 7 foot. I did get a phone call from the neighbor that shares the property line, and they're fine with it, in favor. They didn't want to come this evening, but they are good with it.
Any questions the board have of Ms. Kagan? All right. Is there anyone here speaking on behalf in favor of this variance request? Is there anyone here speaking against this variance request? Hearing none, seeing none, I call the deliberations closed. We will, based on our Ms. Katie's discussion, we'll look at 153.052C 1 through 5. Number 1, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. Mr. Hughes.
I agree.
Agree.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agreement.
Number 2, these conditions do not generally apply to the other property in the vicinity or in that district. Mr. Hughes.
Agree.
Agree.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Number 3, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict use of the property. Mr. Hughes.
I agree.
Agree.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree.
Agree on it.
The authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance.
Agree.
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 Agree on it, Chairman.
And last, the effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. Mr. Hughes.
I agree.
Agree.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree, Mr. Chairman.
Agree, Madam Chairman.
We're unanimous on the agreement, but I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the variance as requested.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimously approved. The Whites need to wait 30 days. Stay in touch with Miss Katie. The last case has fallen through. Is there any other business, Miss Katie, that you know of? Our next scheduled meeting is October 1.
And we do have agenda items.
Okay. And we do have a new member, as made of Ms. Ida Works. I'll take one more motion.
We adjourn.
And a second, and all in favor, raise your hand. This meeting is adjourned.